Howdy, you're watching Divergence Season 4, now featuring moi. What is Divergence? I don't know. Why am I here? That is truly a question. But the most important thing is these lovely, foolish fools have let me in. Now, let us begin. We found ourselves in a savannah, much to DigginTruths' dismay. Much like the others, I frantically ran around, punched wood, made tools, and delved into the depths below. All the while, AmanChoo slaughtered horses. No! Don't do it,
Oh, look!
AmanChoo.
Oh, look! Oh, you saw me.
Rabbit set up.
This was his brother. You killed his brother. And just like that, we're on an SMP for sure. And there are two important things. Magic and whimsy. And all I mean by that is to harass the other people on the server and have a good time. And to do that, we need to build a home. Somewhere to live. Somewhere a bit crooked. So let's go get some resources for a shack that is not only whimsical, but clickable. It was a long journey to get some of those materials. It was made severely easier by the tree decapitator mod, which for me personally still feels a bit like OP, but it is useful. I get the function on a server like this. So that has been interesting to use. I've also just set up this little thing here for other people, because these trees are kind of a pain to get. But more importantly, the resources. If you were doing this yourself, it would take a lot longer than I did to get all of this, especially the warped blocks, but they fall off when you use the mod, which is very helpful. But now we need to summon a certain house, and hocus pocus, let me no longer be homeless. Whoa. That sure is magical. Days played 561. It's been a while since I've been on the server. I did actually build this on day one of the server being open, whilst everyone was sleeping, as time zones. But yeah, we have a quaint little mushroom, and it's adorable. Beside this horrific stable that I need to add more color to. But whilst I've been away, the server has bloomed and encased my beautiful mushroom. Let's have a quick tour. The bottom floor is not much, and I don't know if I plan to do anything with it, but you know, that's the joy. But upstairs, we have barrels, and we also have a KatBeanie wig. That is definitely vanilla. That's a normal feature. So much so, we'll wear it. And now I am Scottish. Yeah. So this is our little home. It's a good start. But we are desperately poor, and I have had that problem in many worlds. But as the server has developed an industry, I have hidden my mushroom for a week. So let's go change that or be poor forever. That was certainly a trip, and that was certainly a frickin' arrow to my face. We have some shiny blue gems, copper and iron, and redstone and lapis. Not anything amazing, but enough to make a start that I'm not going to be one-shot by that skeleton down there. So, I died, and you might be like, how did you manage that? That you were literally living in a mushroom. There's nothing around here particularly dangerous except a rabid llama or two. But you would be wrong. See, I was making some minor off-camera changes, because apparently I hate recording things, like this lovely wall, and improving the stables a little bit. But I crucially wanted to terraform this ground to moss, because I hate warm biomes. I hate the savanna, I just hate the way it looks. And I know a well-tried and true method of removing that is moss. I stole this block from someone, they had plenty, I'm sure they won't mind. I didn't steal it, I merely borrowed it, that's what I mean. And that came up to an issue of like, how do I get bones in early game when I don't really know much about the world? And immediately, my simple solution, well, was I'll go to the nether, find a soul sand valley, and get some bone blocks. And this went horrifically. So much so, DigginTruths doesn't even want to hear me talk about it. Crazy. First, there was a massive frickin' bastion on the way. And of course, I was curious. And that led to the first death, where I got yeeted off the roof. Somehow, miraculously, despite all my stuff being, like, surrounded by lava, I managed to recover it. But I was still greedy. So those diamond tools I talked about crafting, well, I made them. But they found their own demise. I eventually did find a soul sand valley, which wasn't too far, and even some bones. But then I got jumped by a ghast, a skeleton, and some piglins, and I was at 1 heart, and an enderman actually. I desperately tried to run and dig myself into the wall in the nether, which can go very badly, and I soon embraced hot lava. And yeah, so I've been recuperating. I've got some gear. It's not a massive loss. I was reckless, and there are consequences for that. But now I'm gonna transform my lawn. So I sorted the lawn. I have fought the lawn, and I have fought well. Now it is mossy and tree and ghasty, which are all adjectives that we should use in our lives. I don't think that was proper English in the slightest, but we won't question that. But yes, as we reach the end of an episode, we can see the progress ahead of us. We have a quaint little home on a soon-to-be little island in the middle of a S&P, where I have not really interacted socially. So in the next episode, we have a few goals. One is to not be a recluse, and also not to be poor, because that has went horrifically for us so far. So yeah, this is the first episode of hopefully a consistent series throughout this year. Welcome to Divergence Season 4, Bob. Goodbye now.